Hey yo, everyone! I know I mentioned last week that I was going to talk about Game Pass and all of the changes that Xbox has been making lately, but as I was doing my research, I found out that there's a lot more to it under the surface than just the subscription prices going up. So I apologize, but I need just a little bit more time to collect my findings and put them together in a hopefully somewhat coherent video. Instead, today I want to pivot to a different subject: Call of Duty. That's right, on the eve of Battlefield 6, Call of Duty is doing its best to dominate your newsfeed and drown out its biggest competitor. So, let's talk about all of the news that COD has been making lately and why the franchise desperately wants gamers to flock back to their side of the aisle. As always, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Alright, let's get it. Alrighty, so let's start with the news. Call of Duty has been all over the place lately, and not exactly for the best of reasons. They've been getting a ton of flack lately, and deservedly so, for the diminishing quality in their new games. Whether it be wacky crossover skins that completely ruin the immersion or overpriced battle passes that are constantly being shoved down your throat, the quality of life for your average COD gamer has gone down significantly over these past few years. This discourse has been going on for a while across the internet, but it feels like this year with Black Ops 7, it might actually be at its breaking point. Man, Black Ops 7. Take a moment to let that sink in. Look, I don't think we need to get too into the weeds on this one because I'm sure you're all familiar with the video game behemoth that is Call of Duty, but for whatever reason, if you're not plugged into that side of the industry, let me give you a quick synopsis of where COD is these days. We still get our annual release, of course, but this time, instead of the franchise alternating and experimenting with different studios and ideas, they're just sticking with either Black Ops or Modern Warfare. Clearly, these two sub-franchises are the best selling in the series. Otherwise, I doubt we'd be on our 7th iteration of Black Ops and a rebooted Modern Warfare trilogy. Which does kind of suck, honestly. Yeah, maybe Call of Duty Ghost or Vanguard or World War II didn't sell as well as Blops or Modern Warfare would, but I don't think that means Activision should just give up on them completely. Variety is the spice of life, and just having alternating Black Ops and Modern Warfare games to look forward to every year is gonna get old fast. On top of that, for the first time in the series' history, we've had a back-to-back sequel with 2022's Modern Warfare 2 and 2023's Modern Warfare 3. I already made a video on that, but long story short, I don't think Activision should be charging $70 for what was clearly supposed to be Modern Warfare 2 DLC. But probably the most heartbreaking thing of all about this new era of Call of Duty is that the games are actually solid, or at least start solid. Like, for example, Black Ops 6 started out with incredible scores across the board. I personally really like the campaign, the new Omni movement, and I just generally like the Cold War aesthetic. Plus, zombies wasn't too bad. And that's how they get you. The game launches in a great state with polished mechanics and gameplay, and the graphics are amazing, but as the year goes on and we stray further and further away from that initial launch hype, Activision starts cramming in skins and battle passes and cosmetics to milk even more money out of us. And they're so shameless about it too, like just completely ridiculous crossovers that look like they belong in Fortnite or something. And that's no shade at Fortnite, I think it has its role in the industry and does an excellent job at it, but that's not what Call of Duty is. I mean, come on, man. So now, by the end of last year's COD's life cycle, us players are sick and tired of having to navigate through a bunch of ads and cringe microtransactions just to get into a game. Sure, the gameplay still might be polished and generally pretty solid, but now you're getting shot by Beavis and Butthead with laser bullets coming out of a roller coaster assault rifle. How do we get from a gritty Cold War espionage shooter to this shit? I, just like a lot of you out there, am so over this annual cycle of hype to frustration to anger and despair. Luckily for us though, someone is trying to break the door down and take advantage of COD's mishaps. I of course am talking about Battlefield 6, which at the time of me writing this is just a couple days away from launching. Battlefield's previous entry, Battlefield 2042, was a disaster for a multitude of reasons, but probably the biggest one being that it just wasn't Battlefield. The new maps and gameplay decisions were a big departure from that classic Battlefield feel. On top of that, they went with the COD route of introducing battle passes and gross cosmetics just a few weeks after the game's launch. To their credit though, DICE went and reworked a bunch of the maps and gameplay mechanics, but the wacky cosmetics were still there in full force. It really felt like the Battlefield franchise was in danger of losing itself to these stupid industry trends. But then, Battlefield 6. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, Battlefield 6 is a triumphant return of everything that made Battlefield Battlefield. A grounded military shooter set in the not too distant future with large-scale battles that feature vehicles and epic moments. They even included a mediocre single-player campaign. Wow, this really is the Battlefield that I originally fell in love with. And I am very happy to see that I'm not the only one. Online, it looks like people are loving what Battlefield 6 is doing. But of course, we've all heard the return to form praise before. How do we know that this time will be different? How do we know that Battlefield 6 won't just flip a switch and go back to their money-grabbing ways? Well, truthfully, we don't. Especially with all of the uncertainty surrounding their new ownership group. But if Battlefield's design director is to be taken at his word, then we can expect Battlefield 6 to still have battle passes and seasons, but sticking with a more grounded aesthetic, a la Battlefield 3 and 4. This quote went super viral online, indicating that a lot of people are also exhausted with the Nicki Minaj crossovers and whatnot. Battlefield even went as far as to tease COD's current state with their launch commercial, where they had a bunch of celebrities with military equipment pose before being obliterated by an explosive.
Secret destroyer. Hold you up to the flames.
Sound check.
Why do I get
Okay, boys, we're here to do one thing.
my pain?
One thing.
Who was that?
Doesn't matter. Let's move.
A nice little tongue-in-cheek ad promoting Battlefield 6 grounded setting. Now, you'd think Call of Duty would be more confident in themselves after dominating this rivalry between themselves and Battlefield over the generations, but that doesn't appear to be the case. Over the past few weeks leading up to Battlefield 6's launch, Call of Duty has been trying anything and everything that they think will bring gamers back to them. For starters, after that viral interview about Battlefield's policy on crossover skins, Call of Duty released a statement on their website saying that operators and operator skins will no longer carry over from Black Ops 6 into Black Ops 7. So, at least for the game's launch, we don't have to worry about getting 360 no-scoped by American Dad characters. Of course, Activision is probably laughing to the bank right now because they're just gonna re-release all of these skins and get paid twice for it, but whatever. Maybe we'll get lucky and those nasty crossovers will actually stay in Black Ops 6. Then they announced that the Black Ops 7 beta, which was live this past weekend, would be extended an extra 24 hours and include double XP as well as a new map to play on. I checked it out, and like I mentioned earlier, the fundamentals are all sound and I like the Black Ops 2 setting, but it's everything that comes after launch that has me worried about the game. I haven't seen too much talk about the beta online, but the extension and double XP probably bode well with the casual fan. But even then, a 24-hour extension isn't going to fill in that Battlefield 6 sized hole that is about to crater this weekend. So, Activision decided to go all in and set Black Ops 6 free to play for the rest of the week. Now, anyone can download the game and play everything it has to offer, including the campaign, zombies, and of course, multiplayer. The free to play week ends on October 16th, 6 days after Battlefield 6's launch this Friday. I mean, come on, they're not even trying to be subtle about it now, right? But Activision still had one more move to make. Just this past Thursday, they reached into their bag of tricks in a final act of desperation and announced that Black Ops 7 will not have skill-based matchmaking, and the lobbies will be set to not disband. That means they're going with the classic matchmaking formula where it's open and you can join any lobby regardless of your skill level or anyone else's. It won't try and pair you with other scrubs or sweats, just whatever's available. And you can stay in those lobbies for as long as you want. You won't get booted into a different lobby after each match like it has been these past few years. That's pretty sweet, not gonna lie. But will it be enough? Do all of these changes have what it takes to keep gamers from checking out Battlefield 6? Probably not. I mean, at this point, if you're interested in Battlefield, I don't think an extra day of the beta or a free-to-play week is going to sway you away from that, especially since Black Ops 7 doesn't fully release until next month. But clearly Battlefield 6 is making noise. I think this is proof that Call of Duty, at some level, is feeling the pressure from Battlefield. God, it's been so long since we've been able to say that, hasn't it? Look, at the end of the day, I'm rooting for both of these franchises. Call of Duty was like the gateway drug that got me into hardcore gaming, and Battlefield has been one of my favorite games to just get immersed and feel like I'm really out there in the firefights. Both of these legendary franchises have their own tricks and gimmicks and places in the industry that set them apart, so I genuinely think that the industry is better when they're both competing at a high level. It honestly makes me so happy to see how well Battlefield 6 is being received by the fans. I can only hope that next year will be Call of Duty's turn to get back to the basics and win back the favor of the general audiences. Ultimately, it's going to come down to who can put out the best post-launch content and keep the casual gamer's attention. Black Ops 7 will likely still outsell Battlefield 6 because, well, it's Call of Duty, and as disgruntled as we all have been these past few years, that gravy train is still chugging along at full speed. So I suppose only time will tell if this year's Battlefield will provide enough competition for Call of Duty to truly get their act together. So until then, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of all of COD's recent moves to try and win back gamers? What are your thoughts on Battlefield 6? If you could only choose one or the other, why are you picking Battlefield 6? Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm sure Black Ops 7 will be fine. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It means a lot. I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll catch you in the next one.